What's up guys, this is Nick Bowen and today I'm going to be showing you how to replace your clutch.
So everything you're going to need to replace your clutch is your oil, something to soak your fiber plates in, something to put your screws in, an 8 and a 10 millimeter bolt, obviously your clutch.
Alright, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to soak your fiber plates in whatever oil it is that you use just to get them used to that oil. Make sure you don't put in your aluminum plates in there because there's no reason for you to do that. So just let them soak. All it really matters is if you get about 10-15 minutes of them soaking. Like some people let it in there overnight, but it really doesn't matter. Just as long as they have a little bit of time to get used to it. Alright, okay, so if your oil is good in your bike and you don't want to replace it, don't drain it. When you lean the bike over, it'll stay there. But my oil was bad, so I went ahead and drained it. And now I'm going to lean the bike over so I can get to the clutch. You can put it on the ground, but I'd rather just lean it on my stand. So now you're going to grab your 8 millimeter. And right here, the only thing that's going to be in your way to getting this plate off is your rear brake. So on mine there's a spring attached to it, so I'm going to have to get that spring out. And then I'm going to press on this caliper right here, and it's going to let me pull this down further so that I can get it out. Okay, so now I got to get this plate off. And so in an attempt to not hurt your not hurt the gasket whatsoever, I'm going to take it off in a star pattern. Just crack them all loose. There should only be about 4 bolts, I think, that'll be on there. And be careful of how you take them out. Like, remember what order they are in, because there are some of them that are shorter and longer than the others. So now that all the screws are out, push down on the brake caliper, pull this down, and this plate should come right off. And now there's your clutch. So first thing you want to do is inspect the gasket to make sure it's okay, which mine looks like it is. If yours is not though, you need to make sure to replace it because it will leak oil. So you want to put your bike in gear so that your clutch won't just turn as you're trying to loosen up the bolts. So I'm going to take them off in a star pattern again. Just crack them loose. There we go. Alright, so if you're going to be replacing your clutch every like 8 hours or so, you can reuse your springs because they last a while, but I've got a real long time on my clutch, so I'm just going to go ahead and replace all the springs. So let's get rid of all the springs, take all the screws out, make sure to save those. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pull off the pressure plate, and now you want to inspect this to make sure everything looks good, which it does. Make sure nothing's broken, make sure it's looking good, and you're going to want to clean it. There's a hole right here on my bike and right here, and I'm going to be able to put my finger in and reach from the bottom of the stacks and pull them right out. Okay, so I'm going to explain to you guys real quick how the clutch works. So when I pull in the clutch, you see this piston right here pushes up. Well, when that pushes up, it pushes on the pressure plates. So the pressure plate pushes off of the springs, and it lets all of the aluminum plates and the fiber plates spin freely. And when you let go of it, the springs put the force back into it so that it catches. And the reason you have all of these plates versus just one big plate connecting your motor and your transmission is because they're made to slip a little bit while you're letting out the clutch. That's why you let it out slowly, because it gradually catches the motor, versus if you were to just have transmission to engine, it would kill the motor every single time. Okay, so now you have 7 fiber plates and you have 6 aluminums. So you should start with a fiber and end with a fiber. So you're going to place it in. Now you're going to grab an aluminum. Always make sure that there's no dirt on these before you put them in. Alright, that one's clean. Drop it in. Alright, so now you're going to push on your caliper, pull your brake down, put your pressure plate back on. So now that you got your pressure plate on, you're going to start these screws in, and you're going to start them by hand just to make sure that you don't strip these, because if you strip these, that can be very bad. These are very important screws. It's not easy to fix them. Okay, so you're going to torque these screws down to whatever your manual says, but I've done these so many times that I have a real good feel for them and I don't need it, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten these up. So now your last step is to get this cover back on, and remember that if you need a new gasket, please replace it. It really does make a difference. So I'm going to... Okay, yeah, and also make sure that this is very clean. I didn't have to touch it because it was already so clean, but... Put it down, get it out the way. Now slide it over. Remember to go in a star pattern so that it doesn't mess up your gasket, because when you apply the pressure evenly to your gasket, it evenly presses it down, but if you just tighten it up all the way on one side, it's going to flatten out that gasket, and then it's not going to hold oil as well, and it's not going to last as long.